What is up, guys? It is Lego My Django here. I'm here to talk about another big topic of the Disney Star Wars. The sequel trilogy can't be seen logically. What do I mean by this? I'm talking about how the story just does not make sense and how it could all just be fiction. At this point, we don't see a clear story. We don't see any big topics that are being used in this compared to the original trilogy and the prequels. What do I mean by this? We see zombified Emperor, a Sith Lord, Sith apprentice who almost was trained by Luke, who is in a combat situation, got killed by someone who did not have any training prior. We see a character go through a mask, go through face, go through another mask. Goes back and forth. We see a character that is so grand to the Star Wars mythos that he destroys what he sowed in the whole Jedi Order. And we see all of our old classic characters die off instantly. And what's the reason for this? Well, of course, we have to make it seem like it's not like the prequels. We have to make sure it's not like the original trilogy. Let the past die, as Kylo said. And what do I mean by all this? Palpatine was zombified. He died. But now he somehow survived. He can die multiple times, apparently. Kylo got bested by Rey in Force Awakens. No training whatsoever. He was just because she is just powerful. There's no description. We didn't even know that Palpatine was the grandfather of Rey at this point. We didn't know anything. So Rey was just supposed to be all this powerful because she knows staff training. She knows how to fight with a staff. It does not mean you could predict methods of how to defeat someone with a lightsaber. You cannot go from this to this. Only in a short amount of time. It just does not make sense. How do you go from this only you pick up a lightsaber, you know how to use the Force? It does not make sense in this regard. And in this sense, they're killing all of the original trilogy characters. I mean, the only one that's alive is Lando. And honestly, when I first saw episode 7, I was like, where's Lando? Where's Lando? I want to see Lando. Where's Lando? I was so excited to see what happened to him. What happens in episode 7? Not there? I'm like, okay. He's probably in episode 8. He's probably going to be in there. He's probably going to play a bigger role. Watch episode 8. Nowhere. Where's Lando? Where's Lando? And I totally thought in episode 8, when they said there was a Master Codebreaker, I thought that was going to be Lando. I literally thought that was going to be Lando. Because it sounded like a smuggler. Like, the person who's a codebreaker, you'd think that maybe Lando might know that?
Could I do it? Of course I could do it, but I can't do it. I'm a little tied down right now.
Maz, what is happening?
Union dispute. You do not want to hear about it. But, lucky for you, there's exactly one guy I trust who can crack that kind of security. He's a master codebreaker, an ace pilot, a poet with a blaster.
Oh my, it sounds like this codebreaker fellow can do everything.
Oh, yes, he can. You'll find him with a red plum bloom on his lapel, rolling at a high-stakes table. In the casino, on Canto Bite.
Canto Bite? No, that's... Maz, is there any way that we can take care of this ourselves?
Sorry, kiddo. This is rarefied cracking. You want to get on that destroyer? I only know one option. Find the Master Codebreaker.
Old timer. That was a nice thing you just did for Solo. You threw those pirates light years off his trail.
Oh, did I?
You know exactly what you did. Lando Calrissian.
Maz, how did you know it was me?
Even a hood can't hide all that smooth.
Well, man isn't no good swindler, but he's my buddy. I like helping my friends. Speaking of...
But no, he's not in there either. Episode 9? Yeah, he's in there. He's in there for 5 minutes, and then he just kind of, leads in a group of rebels from out of nowhere, and millions of ships just out of nowhere, and somehow he plays a pivotal role by the end of his character arc in the Skywalker saga as him going on adventures with his supposed daughter. It does not make sense, and I hated how Disney kind of played out the role of Lando in this. Again, like I said before, in this as well, Jedi Master Yoda, Grand Master, mind you, destroyed the Force tree that have been used to keep the sacred Jedi text for thousands of years, that has held all this knowledge and all this Force ability. He just zaps it, no reason. Subverting expectations, Ryan Johnson.
Subverting expectations?
Yeah, it's not exactly subverting expectations when you literally write in that Rey took the books. Rey took the books, even though Luke supposedly still thinks they're in there, burning up in solitude. But no, Yoda knows that she took them and whatnot. It does not make sense to me. The factor that Ryan Johnson, that you need a book to explain your bullshit, that means you did not make a good movie. By subverting expectations, you should have just made it where Rey didn't have the books. The books just got destroyed. Like, that would have been more impacting than Rey taking the books and Luke thinking that the books are destroyed. And by the way, while I talk about Luke for a second here, he died just as Obi-Wan. Now, I actually liked it because it seemed like it was mirroring everything. And it was like poetry, as said by Lucas. It seemed like poetry. It really did leave an impact when I saw Luke just fade away. It really made me feel something. But did it really have to be towards Luke exactly? The fact that Luke doesn't really do much, he's just a hermit for no reason, other than thinking that the only reason he became a hermit was the factor that he thought that his nephew was evil, and that Snoke seduced him to the dark side. This is the same character who made the most evil person in the universe, mind you, killed children, destroyed planets, and killed so many Jedi in the past, has almost tormented him. He saw some good in him. He saw good in Vader. And if he just sees a little spark of dark side in Kylo, oh, let me kill him before nothing happens. Complete bullshit. It does not make it clear to me. How does Luke see this goodness in someone who has slaughtered children, who has slaughtered countless people? You see good in him? You see good in him? So what's wrong with Kylo? The whole reason that this all happened was because supposedly Luke saw Kylo's envisionment of the dark and all the future endeavors that might have occurred. But it all could have been saved if Luke would have stick to his guns like the original trilogy. And it does not make sense logically how all this plays out. It doesn't make sense why Yoda, the Grand Master, would destroy the Force tree. It doesn't make sense why Palpatine would come back. Palpatine died. Let's face it, Palpatine did die, and they resurrected him. He's a living puppet zombie. And Kylo, literally, it does not make sense how he lost the fight. Of course, people would be like, well, he got injured by Chewbacca by getting shot in the rib. We saw a character in Jedi Fallen Order lose a hand, and she still fought for a few more minutes. You can't tell me that Disney doesn't understand that Sith characters are very powerful. Both Sith and Jedi are both powerful, and they can last through some attacks. We've seen so many Jedi lose body parts or lose part of their body in the fight, or just get injured, and they're still fighting. They still fight because the Force guides them. But apparently Disney doesn't understand that. They have someone lose a hand and they can still fight. They have Kylo get shot in the ribs and he gets just decimated by Rey. Like getting slashed in the face. At this point, it doesn't make sense. With Han Solo and Luke and Leia dying, Leia literally died to save Rey and do not save her son. The death of her son was caused by her, and he got resurrected. You can't tell me that Leia knew this, that he would have gotten resurrected. At this point, her journey was all because of her son. It was literally Maz Kanata claimed this, that they were both connected in the Force and whatnot. It just does not make sense to me. I guess Kylo was really right. The past does die. Let the past die. He killed Han Solo. Luke died. Leia died. Who else is left? Lando. But he's still alive because, oh, we don't want to kill off this person because then we'll look like racists. But it just doesn't make sense to me. You kill Han Solo. I get it. Harrison Ford didn't want to play him. He wanted to have no part after episode 6. He wanted him to die. And that's fine. I mean, I was fine with Han dying. But by this point, it doesn't make sense. It can't be seen logically anymore. I wanted to give this movie a chance. I wanted to give all the sequel trilogy a chance. But after what Rian Johnson did, there was nothing else to explain. Kylo was practically the supreme leader of the First Order. They were all kind of in this shamble where it was like how they correlated with Empire Strikes Back. The heroes, they were at their wits' end, and they didn't think that they could ever win again, but they still had hope. They still had hope. What happens in The Last Jedi? They're just happy. Yeah, hundreds of soldiers died on the battlefield, but no, at least we survived. Yeah, there's maybe 40 people still there. And it doesn't make sense to me. Rey in itself, she doesn't I don't acknowledge how she could ever be as powerful as she is without any correlation. Her being the granddaughter of Palpatine does not make sense. It can't be seen logically because it was never teased. The reason that we were surprised at how Darth Vader was Luke's father and how we accepted it was the factor of the prequels. The prequels showed us how this all played out and how it all went about and how Luke and Leia were to balance out the Force. But who was the balance between Rey? Who was the balance of it? Who was the balance of Rey and the Sith Lord counterpart? Well, it wasn't Kylo, because he was basically the bisexual in the two. He was struggling between the dark side and the light side. Let's get here honest, people. He was not full dark. He was not full light. He was entangled in both. But who was the real Sith then? Snoke? No, he died. He didn't really use a lightsaber. He just got stabbed. Was it Palpatine? No, he did use his electricity, but he wasn't introduced. He wasn't introduced at all in the series. So I guess we're left to say Palpatine was kind of a villain? He was kind of our villain in this? Because ultimately, Kylo did change sides. He gave in to the light because of how his mother died and how he got wisdom from what Han Solo did say. And even though it was a figment, he still believed it. He threw away Kylo Ren. At this point, I can't make any more sense of all this. Anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy this little rambling session of rant. Anyway, like, subscribe, save in playlist. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.